Y'all ready to blaze away or what?
Welcome back to the channel, everyone. Today we're going to talk about the Tekken characters and how they look. The looks of the Tekken characters is something that's been criticized since the launch of the game. I mean, the female characters, they just lack defining traits to really highlight them. Like when you look at the male characters, their face just has defining features. You can see the difference between Raven and Leroy Smith and Eddie. They don't just look like the same characters. But with the female characters, I mean, you have this post here from Hype of Gigas where he says find Anna, and you can just see how difficult it is to do so. All of these female characters look exactly the same. You will have to stare at this for quite some time to figure out who is who. And you've seen many posts exactly like these throughout the entire lifespan of Tekken 8, and you have not seen one like this for the male characters because it simply is they're just more designed. Tekken 8 putting out these doll-like characters is something that's been criticized since the start of the game, and the players are simply trying to push the developers to bring their identity in gameplay but also design. Something that I've talked about a lot on this channel is how the developers made all of their bodies as similar as possible so they can copy and paste items onto every character. If you put a brand new jacket in the game, if all the male characters have the same body type, you don't have to do anything. You just make sure it fits to one and then it fits on everyone. So I get why they did it, but should it come at a cost to the character's identity? I don't know. You have this comparison here between Tekken 6 Asuka, 7 Asuka, and 8 Asuka. And there's many different examples of this with the female characters where you can see how over time she lost her distinctive look. And this even carried into their most recent update where they added the bathing suits into the game, and people were talking about the female characters missing the belly button, the female character's shoulders being monstrously huge, also the hands. You had so many people get in on this conversation, and just think back to the days when the Tekken characters look like more realistic. We are in Tekken 8, which without a doubt is the best looking Tekken ever. But when you start talking about the character models themselves, that's when things start to get really wild. When the Tekken developers announced that they're making a brand new character and this was the take, she's Madagascar, a lot of people like this design, but a lot of people are once again latching on to how the face looks so similar. Someone says on Twitter, this has 1,000 likes. She's so pretty, but if you showed me this screenshot with no context, I think she's from DOA. You can see here what she looks like in the promotional material, the eyes, the smooth skin, the perfect mouth, nose, and hair. When you compare this to the concept has so much more personality there, from the mouth to the skin complexion to the eyebrows to the hair. This looks totally different than what we have for her in-game character model, and a lot of people were just confused as to how Tekken is once again dropping the ball this way. This conversation goes so deep to where players are even noticing that the mole she has under her eye is the same exact mole and the placement that Kazumi had. The developers copied the mole from Kazumi and put it on a new character. Like, this is crazy. I understand they're trying to save resources. They're trying to cut corners, cut staff, low budget, whatever you could talk about. I get it. I get it. But this is the levels we're going with our like reusing of assets. We're even using other characters' signature trait on new characters. Wow. All of the female characters have been done dirty because they all have been given this generic head face with this generic like face. Like, I feel like all the female characters have this same face with slight tweaks to it, and it just doesn't make sense because like why wouldn't you go that extra mile to make these characters? This concept is amazing, but that is not what we got in this current version of the character, which is why a lot of people were wanting them to do something differently. A lot of them were wanting the developers to spend some more time and make the face right. And this is something that people have done before. You could talk about the Sonic movie. You could talk about many different examples of movies and video games where people said, hey, this does not look right. Please go back, spend some time, and redo it. I remember specifically Street Fighter had a situation like that. But in those instances where developers are faced with the task of redoing their character, the ones who decide to do it, they reap all the rewards from it. People really want to like this character. They want to appreciate this character. They want to love this character, but the face is just not where it should be. Someone said on Twitter, how did this happen? Why did they put her through the Tekken female generic of fire? There's another comparison here that I think is quite possibly the best, where you have the new female character and Asuka, and it is simply doing a overlay between the two, and you can just see here how the characters are so similar. Nothing about them changes at all except for a slight shape of the head. Everything else is exactly the same. This could not be the case, bro. These characters are from totally different parts of the world, and the fact that that is not highlighted through the visuals is crazy. I could show you so many examples of players tagging the developers and making variations of this tweet where they're saying, please change it, please do it, please fix it. And now that I think about it, I think even Mortal Kombat had a similar situation like this with their character Sonya Blade. But the thing about Mortal Kombat is they always have ugly looking characters. It's kind of what they're known for now is like putting the female character out there and the female character looks ridiculous. They did it in MK1, MK11, in the movies. Mortal Kombat may just be a lost cause, but we don't want Tekken to get to that point, which is why you see a lot of these tweets made from so many people on this topic. One of the most viral posts out of all of these comes from Dell. Dell says, there's still more time to make her look a little more like the very successful concept, Tax Tekken and Tax Nakatsu. And this side-by-side comparison is amazing. You have the one that we were given, right? Notice the hair, how flat and smooth it is. And then you have the braids, the smooth face. We talked about this, right? But look at this overhaul. This overhaul is what the character should be. So much detail here. The hair is the most unique part of this whole thing because when you talk about the female character's hair, in my opinion, it's all so generic. But then also the skin complexion is right. The face features is right. The eyebrows. In the concept, the eyebrows is pretty thick. In this version here, it's super thin. Super thin. I think if the tech developers go back to the drawing board and tweak this character a little bit more, players would love the end results because this character is already being received very well, but you just have to iron out the details so people can really celebrate this character. This tweet from Dale has over 10,000 likes. So you can see how viral this conversation is and how a lot of people are just noticing how the Tekken developers continuously slip when it comes to the female characters and the way that they are portrayed. Now, there is a lot of people on Twitter who is just saying that this is toxicity. Twitter is just a negative black hole. The amount of tweets complaining about Miary doesn't look like she's from Madagascar, or the concept is better than her in-game render. I'm excited to see her gameplay and happy to finally have an African Tekken character. So there's some people out there who think it's all overblown, and there's some people out there who also is just hating on the fact that it's a female character. But in my opinion, I think that players are right to feel the way that they do. Now, what I will say is that the people who are saying that she doesn't look like she's from Madagascar, they're kind of wrong. We've seen this screenshot here that I showed you guys before, but you can see what women from Madagascar look like. Now, I would argue that the new character kind of is in this halfway point where they need to fix the face and really get those defining features right. But generally, when you talk about what the character is representing, I think she captures it perfectly. This was a all-female tournament that was held in Madagascar, and the new female character would blend right in with all of these characters. I think most people are really just confused by the lack of details in the face.